Hey there folks, and welcome to the next GT7 Showcase. In this showcase I'll be showcasing 4 cars and showing the engine swaps at least for pictures. Starting with the Suzuki Carry KC 2012, which is a very fun truck considering what you can do to it and such. Which is an inline 3-cylinder truck, or K truck, which is a in-rear drive. Which is shocking. Usually most of the trucks are like all-wheel drive immediately, but not this one. This one's rear drive. Which I could have sworn we had something based off of this, but its name is demonetized, so you know. Better not much about it. But it is based off that said truck, so. Suzuki Carry is based off the Suzuki M, in other words. It's sad we can't call it that. It's nowadays just called the Carry. Which, honestly, good name. But anyways, this is basically what you can do to it and such, which I didn't add any weight reduction because yeah, this is made for K build. So I got close to 400 pp as close as you can, and yeah, you can add a wide body to it. And then for the cosmetics, is insane. I'm just gonna say it's the most insane you can get with this. So then, as you can see, for rims, you have 12-inch rims, which even at stock, you can actually widen the offset too. But if you go custom though, you can add 16 inches of rims. You can also widen the width and the offset that way too. Well, the width's technically, but yeah. And then for the customization part, like for the front width, you can really go crazy with this. You can technically just make it into a Japanese truck, which is basically what I did. A Japanese race truck. Which is funny. So a more healthier racing truck. Or mini semi-truck, basically. Feels like. Yeah, then you got your spoilers and stuff you can do to it. I guess there's another joke to say about that. Oh, you also don't need to use water hydraulic brakes too. Which is a joke to be said when it comes to Japanese race trucks. But yeah, it's kind of cool though, I gotta say. You just get this little truck to look like a little Japanese racing truck. It's so insane on that. Yeah, you can change a lot thanks to this, considering how much you could change the back there. You could change it to look like just a regular truck, or you could change it to look like a race truck. By the way, I have no idea what's with that Japanese symbol. That's very interesting. That must be just something you can just, you know, decal over as well. I didn't realize that when I was doing that, but that's a very that's an interesting twist. It's probably the first time I've seen a license plate do something unique like that. Yeah, you can also change the front piece of the truck, which also changes the lights a little bit. Adds more cuts to them. Such. Yeah, that's basically my setup for this truck, and we are doing the new lightweight K Cup added for this, which this is a very tough one, I gotta say, but $75,000 within 5 laps of Eiger norm, or no, 6 laps of Eiger norm. But yeah, for K vehicles, this is perfect for it. Perfect for these little vehicles. Considering how long it just takes around this track, it's not long. I'll say that much. But to say about the Suzuki Carry KC, in comparison to the Honda Beat, this thing is a little monster, I gotta say. Shockingly. And fun to drive for a little truck. So you're not gonna deal with any of the feedback stuff. Oh yeah, I also will say compared to its ancestor, that is the M, this has 2 seats. The M did not have, I'm just gonna say the mid. The mid did not have, I just can't say the second part to it. I'm just gonna say It rhymes with gut. But yeah. Yeah, it was called that. But nowadays it's called the carry, which the carry is it's an interesting case because it's basically a modernized case of the mid. The mid had only one seat. This has 2 seats and I guess AC will look like there. So I see some of the vents. I didn't really look at the vents very well. Not bad on that. We got a handlebar on the side. Or a hold bar on the side. They knew this thing was going to get wrecked in some way as possible. But yeah, for a K truck that's really revitalized the whole spirit of K vehicles spirit. Cause you could take like literally anything into this kind of sport as long as the engine, you know, hits the 600cc. Even though I kind of debate, I find that any motor should just join in no matter what. But it is what it is. It's just, I say it's more to the size. I mean, look at this truck. It's about the size of the Copeland. So, if anything, it has an advantage over the Copeland. It's taller. So, a reasonable person could probably fit in this and such. But I will say, what's cool about this event is that, what's the best way to say it? That they also went out of their way to decal all these cars for this contest here too. They're very crazy. But speaking of, yeah, I went to town for vinyl on this truck. I gotta say, I got the badge of approval of greatness on this one, which is so great. I also posted it on my thing, so if you ever want to get it, you can. One second. Rich, here's the decal. You're welcome, by the way, if you want this decal or not. But anyways, back to the race. But yeah, it's just crazy. It's like, oh, it's like, wow, I really went to town on this one because I actually like dive, like, you know, add a black on top, add some splash to the sides of it, side of the bottom there, and stuff. And it's like, wow, this actually looks pretty crazy for once. I usually don't go crazy on vinyl. Usually don't. It actually, that just tells you how good this little truck is to me. At the end of the day, if I can make some really creative spirit out of your vehicle, that means you did a good job. And the carry is that example. Okay, here's all the other opponents with their kind of generic decal, to be honest, a little bit. Except for like a certain one I can think of. At least I went to town. This steer's not bad though. Oh, that one's not bad. The problem is you only add just the understeers, like nothing else. Nothing else decal. That seems to be the running gag about these decals they do, is like they just toss like one decal to each side of the vehicle and just call it a day. Okay, what should we put on the left side? Bullets press. That's it. That's all you're doing. Nothing else. Look at that. It just feels like there needs to be more, considering like look at these ones. These ones actually got a bit more to them. Look at the Copens here. I'm not saying that it's bad though. It's just I'm just surprised there's not a whole lot to it. It's like quick. We need to fast design this as quick as we can. Throw it out the door. There you go. We got a couple Honda Beats, which, yeah, I got to realize how bad the Honda Beat is when I came from that weekly. Because, yeah, I at first did this first. I thought, you know, maybe the carry truck's not that great. Like, I still had a challenge with this, but I did beat them in the one temp though, when I turned this just right. The Honda Beat, I didn't beat in one temp. I had to do 2 temps because it just wasn't good enough. But this little truck can go up the hill pretty good, and that is the advantage it has. Then again, it is a I guess it's called a cat cab basically. It's basically a cab truck that you have to lift the whole front to reveal its engine. If I'm thinking semi-truck logic, it might not be semi-truck logic, and you might just have to just open the front panel there just to, you know, see the engine. Which, that's technically good design, I'm not gonna lie on that part, but it's bad design if you ever wreck. Don't wreck. Don't get hit in the front. I'll just say that. I mean, it does have some. It does have a bit of a protection there. I'm seeing a bit of a bump there, so it's not all squared. So at least there's that. But that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of cat-cabbed Japanese trucks, basically. What most Japanese trucks are, or European ones for that matter, same bands and stuff. And then you get the S660, which is the modernized Beat, which is much better. Not a whole lot better, but it's better. And then you get the Jimmy XC, which I was wondering if someone was going to drive Jimmy. Oh, I said Jimmy. It's Jimmy. It's not the bigger Jimny, but then again, I think that one's kind of banned because uses a different motor. But the Carry X, or actually, Carry KC is a pretty good little truck to have for this competition case. So yeah, I'm actually surprised I outspeeding this Cappuccino. I will say the Beat was not. Comparison. It's just really shocking. But then again, I don't know, the Carry KC weighs only like 1,500 pounds for this case. That's not bad. You know, I consider. Because again, I'll say this again, the Honda Beat weighed 1,600. I actually put more weight in it. It was like 1,900. That's shocking. That's very shocking. The difference there. The difference there means a whole lot. But that's such. Yeah, that's my opinion of the Carry KC, and yeah, this is a very fun event and a reason to eventually make K builds in the future, because this this pays out very reasonable. 75K is pretty good for something that's like 8-minute racing. Is it a tough race? Yeah, but I like a good tough race, and this is a good tough race. If there's any worries you have to worry about on this race, is that guy in front. That guy in front feels like it has one heck of a progression thing going on there. Cause he's a weird one to me, but not a terrible case like our Kokobun. He's just noticeable. But once you basically get up to him, you're good. It's just throughout the whole race, it's that tight. Yeah, that's basic victory for the Carry KC truck, though. Not a bad race. Now, on to the next one here. As it goes on down the way. So I might as well just show that our opponents too. So here is the next car, which is a Corvette Z06 C5 of 2001. Which, as always, here's the things you can do, which for this build, I went for a race build. Basic race build, but doesn't need the engine upgrades, because this engine's already powerful enough. Nor I really need the weight reductions at all. I think maybe one, I took. I think that was really about it. But yeah, of course, I had to do the vinyl. I had to do the vinyl for this one. You gotta have that GTS LM style it's known for. The C5 is the revolution of Corvette, after all. The C4 was close, but the C5 is where it really nailed the coffin on the whole performance angle. Thanks to the C4 ZR1, I will say. However, but yeah. It was a phenomenal machine that you can basically do a lot, and you know, has the legendary motors, the LS motors. A very revolutionized motor, I guess, at the end of it. Or V8. And then you get an added wide body, of course. How would you not? And what can you do to it? Oh, a lot of things as well. just like the Carry KC. You basically change the rims, which one rim's smaller than the other one. I think, yeah, because it's one of those cases where the front rim's smaller than the back one. It's for that dragster preference kind of thing, which does kind of affect things. Although I say like dragster loosely, it's like technically it's just a stance at the end of the day. Yeah, you can at least wide the offset for the stock ones, while the ones you can full wide if you want to. And then the front, you got a big old lip to it, which is basically the LM lips, because otherwise you can't do the LM style without it. I think that was the one they made sure, and for some reason it takes out the lights on this one. I have no idea why. And then you have the Type B, and then you have custom wing, but I forgot to show the types of custom wings, so sorry about that. But it has a custom wing though, so. Then you got hood pins, of course, tow hooks, and a roll cage. Which, yeah, might as well go for the full Type C because it's a two-seater after all. And some light bulbs. And license plate, which, yeah, for the guy who did the decal on this, for some reason, basiled the license plate in the back. It's there though, I can see it with the decal right there. And then for some reason, you can just take the badge off. That feels a bit sacrilege, but okay. I'm not sure why you would do that. But anyways, off to the race, which is the American Clubman Cup 700. Yeah, I didn't design that vinyl, it was someone else's. At the Autodromo de Interlagos, surprisingly. So, in Brazil, okay. Which basically, it's a majority of Corvettes, except for whoever's in the front here, which I have questions for an American car. Considering if you know what's in the front of the pack, I must say. Not such. Yeah, basically got a bunch of Corvettes here, from the notorious C8 there to the C5. There's a C5 there, a regular C5. And then you got a C2 that's kind of based off of Twistmo's, or not based off of, but what Spectre's based from is this C2 here, the one with the race design. So yeah, that is an actual race design, I will say. And you got the C4 DR1, and then you got a wicked fabrication, besides the Jack Maverick in the back there. And you got Mustang GT 2015 up here that is based around the Boss 302, I believe. In terms of style there going on there. And then you got Camaro SS too, that's a bit race styled as well. Based off, I believe, the K&N one. What's a K&N on? And you got a Viper GTS that's just plain. No, actually, wait, no, that's the blue one. That's not the red one. I thought it was the plain Jane red one again. Is that the plain Jane red one? No. It's surprisingly a blue racing, somewhat racing design one. I say somewhat. It's just like a stylish blue. A notorious Grand Turismo one, so to say. And then you got the GT40. That's just basic GT40, where it usually comes in that stylish red. And then you got the Corvette Z06, no, not Z06, I was saying Z06 for the C5 there. That's C7, and then that's C7 GR, I believe, or they both C7s, so you know. I thought one of them was the GR1, but no. And then, what's very damaging to us Americans, a Garage RCR Civic. I know that the person who built it was American, But this car is not American. So, that is a Civic with a K Civic motor in it at the end of the day, with a roll cage and designed to do wicked time trials at the end of the day. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna be offensive about it, but come on, man. It's not an American car. It's a Japanese car. Technically. So if anything, that should technically be a Japanese car. So talk about differentiation, or yeah, I can't really say it right. But yeah. Anyways. I'm not mad, but yeah, basically it's a bunch of Corvettes racing. Not surprised, it should be the Corvette events, because look at how many Corvettes. So yeah, I think we got Corvette of every gen at this point. From C1, C2, C3. There is no C1 though, but there's like 2 C4s. One of them's based off the racing design. I do recall from GT2, I believe. Because yeah, GT1 had the American stripes, GT2 had that one. Which yeah, GT1 any day for the American design one. And as such. And then the C8. I don't know what's the one that's fast. The Yak Maverick, the Mustang GT 2015. That's the Viper GTS one there, which is not bad. But yeah, if I had to say about the Corvette Z06, it's not a bad car at the end of the day, which I'm not surprised. I mean, the C5 went from there to the C7 at the end of the day. The C7 was kind of the downfall for the C5. The C6 was the king of Corvettes. The C8 is the MR Corvette, I would call it. After so many concepts of the MR version of the Corvette, they finally just made it. Which is interesting. It does make me wonder, can they just turn around and just make a front engine version for the Corvette, or is the front just too small? Because it is kind of interesting on that part. Yeah, there's a C3 Corvette. Yeah, it's just missing the one Corvette, which is the C1 Corvette. If I drove the C1 Corvette, all the Corvettes would be here. Yeah, that would be all of them. Oh wait, no. I just realized we have a ZR1. We don't have a ZR1. Okay, never mind. Oh wait, no, we do. Cause I see ZR1. No, wait, no, it's kind of C4. I gotta remember the C4 is also ZR1. The C4 is what started the ZR1. And the C6 is what brought back the ZR1, because yeah, that's the reason why we have the Z06 for C5, is because it only came in Z06, it didn't came in ZR1, as far as I'm aware of. I think at best maybe a Grand Sport, maybe, which I might base off of that. I'm not sure yet for decal, because I will say I do have plans to make an actual decal for the C5 and probably use that for the Corvette event, but instead I use the C2 Corvette for that Corvette event. So I won't know when it comes to the weeklies, I don't use any of the new cars. Or the weeklies before this one. So, yep, on to the final stretch of Interlagos, which I'm surprised they picked this track. I was kind of shocking. It is what it is at the end of the day. It is around America, so you know it's a Brazilian track, so South America. Yeah, now to basically the roundabouts of this turning course. But yeah, again, this was planned to be a 650 PP tryouts track, but then I kind of just judged it as more of a corner track at the end of the day, because it really kind of is. It just has so many turns. After some deep thinking on this one, I decided to just pick Deep Forest Raceway instead. Yeah, speaking of Corvette, I have a Corvette in the future to do. Now on to the next car, which is the 812 Superfast. Which this car basically just reminds me of the F12, just, you know, more modernized and a bit technically beefier, but I had to detune it for the race spec style 700 pp, so it is neutered big time. From its I believe like 852 horsepower, I built it down to 475. But this shows that yeah, you can also detune them too if you have to. I wouldn't say I wouldn't be the healthiest thing, but you know, like, you do what you do. I guess you want more reliability because it won't strain the engine that hard in that case. Because the engine was made more in mind for the 800 horsepower. Such, so that's the funny part. But yeah, basically I just add all the interchangeable stuff at the end of the day. I believe it has all that. Exactly. But yeah, the 812 Superfast is basically essentially like the F12. There's a little bit of differences here and there. I don't know the same engine model code, I will say. And then it's got a wide body, of course. And then also, what can you do to it? Just like a good amount of stuff you can do to it. But yeah, for rims, I just kept it normal because that is kind of unique. It's spiral star style, like a pinwheel style, I would say. And then if you go for custom rims, you can increase the inches even more. I don't even know why would you put 22 inches, but good lord. You do you, I guess. I guess you don't want tire walls. But yeah, you can have standard rim width and offsets, not such. But yeah, I will say I am going from most interesting to least interesting, and yeah, I gotta admit the 812 is kind of least interesting because it's basically just kind of like the F12 at the end of the day, just more faster and more interesting to look at. Because I do like the brake lights of this one a bit more. So I don't think that's the same there. And it's more aggressive. It's more aggressive look to it. Yeah, but it was not bad for her. So I mean, it's kind of gotta be pretty good, anyways, considering it's based around the V12s of Ferraris. Now they just need to add the 296 GTB, I believe. In other words, the Fortnite one, because we still haven't got the Fortnite one, which I was shocked. It's like, at first I told my friend, I was like, we had the Fortnite one, and then I looked, we don't have the Fortnite one. The Fortnite one is a 2019 car though, and it should be added at this point, but we don't. Instead, we just got the Superfast just now. But yeah, that for customization is kind of just normal stuff. You can just do it to it. Yeah, here's the event, which is the Ferrari Circuit Challenge of Deep Forest Raceway at 700 pp. So that's why it's been detuned big time. Should have just, you know, kept it at the standard with the Super Sports or Super Softs, maybe, or not Super Softs, but Sports Soft, maybe. But yeah, I just rather just do a race build. Because I have plans to just bump this up to 800 anyway, so you know. But it is interesting that, can you do a race build as this detuned massively for 700 pp? And you can. It's not the greatest, but it is something. It's not crazy. But it can hit like 180, 190 still, so That's still pretty impressive. Cause yeah, I will say when it comes to horsepower thresholds, as soon as you hit 500, the weight is your problem at that point. Because depending on how light you are, the faster it takes to get you to 200. Because what? Because heck, if you want the ultimate car, you basically want something that weighs 2,500 pounds, something that's 500 horsepower, so I can easily hit 200 miles per hour, and is pretty safety for a car. If you got those three fundamentals as a two-seater or a coupe car, you're perfect. That is the perfect car. Any higher is just kind of pointless, to be honest. And if I was a car developer, I would probably make something like that at the end of the day. If any focus I would do at that point would be making a better transmission, better brakes, and better control. The speed is not the problem. And also, I want to keep the car healthy at least. This doesn't feel that healthy, but you know, they probably got their whole economics bonus setups, like turn off cylinders or other stuff like that. Or daily drive mode. And that such. But if you want just an essential, basic, fun car, there you go. It's a 500 horsepower, 2,500 pounds. I would say, I would increase the threshold on that. I would increase to 2,500 to 3,000 pounds. Around there, it'd be fine because I think it has the possibility to hit 200 at that point. If the aerodynamics allow it, and good aerodynamics and great safety, you have yourself a good car there. The fundamental car, actually. I know, yeah. FRs and all-wheel drives, because I don't see FS doing that unless they have a hybrid system. Maybe that's possible. Yeah, you got your consistent category of Ferraris here, and your cannonball run car here, that is the GT4. I was about to say for the V12 representation, but I can't remember if it was a GT4. It is, it's a GT4. And you got the stock 812 super fast, which yeah, he's really fast. Where is he? No, instead we had the F8 Tributo though, but that's not the 296 though. The F8 Tributo though is the successor to the Type. Actually, I take that back. I think the 296 was 2021. I get confused because there's just so many Ferraris. Of terms of basic Ferraris compared to special edition ones. That's like they're trying to make a new your F4, they're trying to make a new Law Ferrari, but instead of 12 cylinders, I think it's supposed to be a 6-cylinder with a hybrid motor. Or a special edition. And that stuff. But then again, they also call their shooting brake car not a wagon. So, or is either not a wagon or not an all-wheel drive. I'm not sure what the point on that one, but just wow. It's like, okay, whatever. Anyways. Yeah, you got 308 PTBs, fun cars, the Dinos, technically. So then the 246 back there, that's a Dino. And then you got the Cannonball Racer, that is the 365 PTB. Or it's California. I believe the V12 ones are technically just all called Californios in some way. That's the fun part. Or that's just a special edition of it. I'm not really sure on that one. I thought it was called. I'm pretty sure the guy who you talked to for Bio says it's a California. So that's like the F12 looks like a California. So it's in the backlights. So I assume California. But yeah, then you got the 430 Scuderia, Sacraderia, which way you want to pronounce that. 512 BB 1976, Yeah, there's two F12s. Okay. Then the Italia. E12, that is me. Up in front already. So basically just daily drive and the rest of the way there, which I'm not surprised, this thing's pretty fast. Even at 400. Because like I said, you don't need a whole lot of horsepower to even hit 200. Like I said, if there's a golden goal to do, how less of horsepower do you need to hit 200? That'd be the question I would ask, because hitting 200 is just the golden pleasure. It's the speed to hit at this point. 250 is something, but you really don't need it, because there's no event that really supplies that. Nor is it healthy at all, because as you can see, no race car hits that level either. So, you know. Or if they do, it's paint cars at best that hit 250. Foreman cars used to, but then they changed to super performer cars, and nowadays they hit about 8230 at best. They get close, but it's not the same. It's not the same as the V12 cousins. Just make some a big deal, basically. Let's get the F33. C-Area or C-Area or Secondary. It's like, I guess the C silent? I hope it's not. And then you got the Burn Mid, F12 Burn Mid, and it is kind of interesting for the F12 to the 812. It's like, that one's called F12 Burn Mid, the other one's called 812 Super Fast. Okay. Oh yeah, then we got a regular F430 here. A Cannonball Racer. Yeah, that's the one that actually won the Cannonball race when that was off of way back. The Cannonball race is basically a race from California to New York, I believe. While not getting caught by the cops and not, you know, having a car totaled in any way. It's basically a road trip, but it's a road race. That was back then. That's somewhat still kind of a thing, somewhat technically not, because it's not official, but some people do try to do it just to see how fast of a time they can do. They're using a lot of exploits. Some police radar stuff and other shenanigans. Stuff that they shouldn't have, in other words. Or have their car look like a cop car, even though it's not a cop car. I just know I read history of that on YouTube somewhere. I believe Albon. So most of my knowledge stuff in some ways from that guy. Helpful stuff. So now onto the turd. That is the CRV EHAV EX Black Edition. And yeah, I'm not kidding, that's the startup for it. There's no engine sound, it's just the beep, beep, beep noise. But anyways, here's what you can somewhat do to it. For an inline 4 engine, why is it I can't add any engine parts to it? Besides the ECU, that's the only thing I can add. There is no turbo, and yet I have a big old Pike speed or time attack spoiler and a time attack whip, which more on that when we get to customization here. And it only hits 146 horsepower at 232.4 foot per pound. Based on the build I did. So why is it this terrible? Why? Just why? As the saying goes. So yeah, it's just like, okay, like, there's like really nothing you can do to this compared to the CHR. I think the CHR was much better. And don't get me started about the CX-30. I think that was clearly better. So yeah, you can add a white bar to this. And you can add the rims, but yeah, I got rid of those because they were so ugly. Freaking ugly rims. So instead I went with those because they at least look better. I'm surprised how many inches you can add to this one. Good God. Add a wide to that and stuff. Jesus Christ. Add a front lip. But yeah, for front lip. Oh, let's add a time attack setup to this. Even though it has only 146 horsepower. Big old time attack side skirt, big old time attack back skirt. That's like, holy, like, what is this for? Do you have plans to do an engine swap? Because you really should have just added the engine swap. Even I don't know what to say about that. Besides, you know, laugh at it. I'm confused. It's like, okay, you add this big old time attack stuff to this car, but this car is also irrelevant as bad as the Ionic. Speaking of bad time attack one, I mean, at least that one's actually put in use, though. I'll admit to that. But this, you're comparing yourself to a crap stain with another crap stain. That's even worse of a crap stain because it's already dried up for a crap stain. So it's gonna be difficult to scrub that out. This, like, okay. And in the front here, yeah, I took the badge off because that actually looks better without the badge. That badge looks tacky, man. Too bold for my eyes to look at. But yeah, I put comfort tires because, yeah, you might as well at this point. But anyways, to the Sunday Cup, because there's no event dedicated to this on top of it. Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. It's almost like they freaking chucked this sucker in the game just for the heck of it. It's like, okay, what other crossover should we have? Which side the CRV? Okay. And it is by none the worst crossover I have ever driven because, at least unlike the CHR, the CRV has like no events dedicated except to the Sunday Cup because at least it's a road car, and the parades because those are road cars specific too. The 2 tournament parades you can do it with. Otherwise, this thing is a crapshoot because for an all-wheel drive, you really can't do much with it at all because the closest all-wheel drive you can do is an event that's 600 pp, which I don't know if I would say do. I am curious, but I wouldn't say do. They just slap racer tires just to see what happens. Full tune to see what does, just see what does. But I just say I think it might have CVT. It's kind of weird because it's like a dual clutch CVT because it like comes for the first 75 here, and then switches to another gear. It sounds like. I tried to look this up, but I don't know. Well, when I say look this up, let me just check the file. I don't think it says anything about it, which is really weird. It's like you look at this thing on the dash and you just see a blue bar on the infotainment as well. It's like, okay, so what the heck is that? So my only guess is that it like switches between something, which I'm thinking it's like it switches the first motor. From what I recall, I think it switches the first motor to the second motor. Which, why does it do that? That should just have the both motors anyway. But yeah, just seeing this working behind me, it's like, what is this? What the heck is this? And then he's also beating me on the speed too. It's like, oh, this is embarrassing. I want to get out of this car as quick as I can. Get me out of this car! I want to live. I was paid to drive this. So that's just what it feels like. It is sadly what it feels like. And then you had the tinted up in front here, and that's really about it for this car at the end of the day. Well, at least you got a decent paid event. Luckily, 37. I think it was like 37,000. Yeah, I got 55 because I played clean about it. Somehow played clean. You know, I was on my grass for a good minute. But they don't want to count that. They don't know. But they'll count something like you wouldn't think it's a cut. In fact, it is. Even I don't understand that. Yeah, basically got your novice cars from your King D to Suzuki Swift. Oh hey, something better to drive. I'll drive that any day, I'll drive that any day, I'll drive that any day, I'll drive that any day. I won't drive that! As the saying goes. So yeah, I am basically going one and done with this car because there's like nothing to really do with it at all. It's like, it's that bad. Granted, it's not as bad as vintage race cars. I will say vintage race cars are technically the worst in terms of right now because there's no events dedicated to them besides I can think of a mission one and maybe the historic one at best. Otherwise, it just sits in the garage because you can't really do much besides custom race. Same case with this one. At least it's got a bears and horn to go with it. It's just kind of funny that I'm just drag racing the Civic and the Civic beat me there to the end point. It's like, oh my god. That's sad. But then again, it's a crossover. What do you expect? I will say, I know it's technically a traditional crossover, just, you know, the worst crossover. Because at least the CHR, you could drive that in the FF and you could have not a problem with that. This, oh, no. This at best, you just have the Sunday Cup. Which is, big ol' that part. Like I said, but here we go, finally to the line. Get me the heck out of this car! Now onto the pictures of engine swaps here, which I'm going to be kind of a bit fast about this because I only just took the pictures because I didn't have much time left, but you have the Suzuki VGT for these two cars here, which for the Skoda is going to be interesting in that case. For the Jaguar though, you get the V12 XJR, which, holy crap, that's going to be crazy. And then for the Tundra, you get a race car motor, the SC430, which that's also going to be crazy. And then this gets the S15 or the R34 there, while this gets the 911 motor of the Porsche 992, I believe. So kind of a new motor, newish motor. Other than that, that's just basically what I'm going to do for the showcase from now on. So that basically wraps that for this showcase. So I got a special video in mind because, yeah, there is one I didn't show here, which is the Fiat 500F, which this one's a fun one because for an engine swap, you get to put the 2+4 motor in it, which the 2+4 is a Honda bike car that I am happy that spread into other cars like this because this needed that motor big time. Because this bumped its performance to 550, which is a really nice performance mark for this car and such. It really fixed the whole problems about this car. If anything, this made this car like one of the funnest cars to drive now for 500F. And it also made me realize I only have one 500F, so but I'm okay with that because the engine that was in it was crap to begin with. So screw it. And consider how fun it is to drift this little car. But that basically wraps my time to talk about the showcase at the end of the day. So I thank you for watching and stuff, and I hope you enjoyed what I showcased to you at the end of the day. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. You guys take care.